Harry Kane opened up in his struggles for form this season, of course, still at Tottenham. And he admitted that the Euros failure, the summer speculation over his club future, we were all thinking he's going to end up with Pep at City. City certainly wanted him, and we're going to pay big money to get him. But he stayed with Tottenham. Daniel Levy played hardball. And even the criticism of his brother, who was working for him as his agent, he says, all of that took a toll on me. Now, we'll get into the brother aspect of it in a minute. But this is what he says about the post the Euros, Martin. He was saying, it then went on to a whole bunch of speculation about his club future. He says, of course, it's difficult to read certain things. And then the season got underway. It's been a disappointing start, personally for me, but as a team as well. We all know there's a lot of work to be done. I know my form will come. It's never easy. I came off the back of a tournament where you're physically tired, you're mentally tired, and all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, the Premier League is pretty much starting, and you're right back into it.
Harry Kane didn't get what he wanted. Boo-hoo. Winners keep on winning. Hang on, let me finish my last point and you take over. A tennis player that plays in a Grand Slam that doesn't win a tournament, like Novak Djokovic, you know what he does in the next Grand Slam? He goes and wins it. Our players come back and go, I'm affected. Winners win. If they don't win the first one, they win the next one, and they keep on. They don't go, oh, hang on a second, I'm affected by not winning.
But who's the winner then in this? Because Daniel Levy is wouldn't listen. The player journey was done at Spurs. He wanted
according
to leave.
To the player.
Yeah, and we're seeing that now, aren't we? Are we seeing that now to a certain extent?
Why?
That the player has to turn around now and say, okay, because he's saying it was been affected by the situation he found himself in. So it's not the same Harry Kane. 1 goal this season. It's a totally different player. Should they not have cashed in Daniel Levy?
But he's been playing deep for some time, hasn't he? And last year he was hitting his straps and people were very comfortable with the way he was playing and saying, look at this revolution that Harry Kane drops deep and Son goes in behind him and it's wonderful style of play. Harry Kane can do everything. And now all of a sudden he's gone deep and it's a problem.
Well,
maybe
is he
the
committed?
whole Tottenham setup was a problem.
It's a problem. He's not as committed as he was. And he felt that there was some sort of gentleman's agreement for him to allow to leave the football club. And now he's not playing to the level he wants to play. I don't feel that the right decisions have been made around this player. I think the player should have been allowed to leave when I look at what he's done so far this season. Daniel Levy got that wrong.
This is one of those where you point your finger at something and no one ever substantiates it.
Well, to a degree. Simon's got a point. Martin, was Harry Kane right to say to Gary Neville when they did an interview in a golf course, I hope the chairman at Tottenham does the right thing? In other words, when City come in with a bundle of money, I can go there.
I didn't really feel that they needed to go public on
before
that.
It's been done.
It should have been done internally, and it seems like they're trying to punish him. But there are no winners in any of this.
No, they were trying to make
There's no winners in this because they could have got over 100 million for him. They're not going to get that now.
But that wasn't what they wanted. So with true respect, Harry Kane is
So what have they got now then?
They've got a player that, like a lot of footballers, every now and again has to do what he's told to do rather than what he wants to do. He's a big boy. He signed a contract for 5 years. There's 3 or 4 years left on it, 3 years left on it. What do you want? Oh, I know what I want. What I want. And by the way, he's part of a team that he was part of that could have won the Champions League, could have got through to the FA Cup final, could have won the league, but they didn't because he and the team weren't good enough.
Has he got a point, Martin, in that respect?
He has, but it's interesting because watching the England games really closely in the summer, though, it almost felt like he'd lost his mojo. He wasn't really that in top form in the summer. So he's now pointing to the fact that he'd lost his motivation a little bit. I think that the deal was done in his own head to go to City. I think he was working to a timetable of a holiday structure, 3 to 4 weeks off, and then joining his new colleagues at a new club, and that didn't happen. Whether it was because they never offered enough money, I don't think it got anywhere near the figures that it was being talked about in the media, and he had to stay where he was. And, we have a big game tonight. You're wondering, does Harry Kane even start the game? If you're looking at performances the way this season, I mean, Southgate is going to be particularly loyal to him if he plays him. I would play him because he seems to do better in an English shirt. Scored a few goals for England. Is it 1 goal this year in the Premier League so far? I look back to that game, Jim, the most recent international against Hungary, and we had 5 Man City players playing in that team. A lot of people wanted to give stick to Harry Kane, but a lot of players didn't click. It didn't click for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
So he's everybody wants to come for Harry Kane, and once he starts scoring the goals again, you feel with the manager in Conte at his football club, he's going to find a pathway for him to be successful. But he's dropping far too deep. Son is looking like he's the main player at Spurs now, and it seems as if it's all got. There's a feeling of depression, maybe. around his football. And he's got to, the spark now needs to come from within, and the new manager will help to find that, because the territory with this new manager, you've got to work, you've got to graft. You know, that's how he is. Conte is a tremendous winner of trophies.
Sure.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Harry Kane survives that. I'm sure he will, because he's an immensely talented player.
Do you think, Martin, sitting here right now, if Kane had got his move to City, he'd be a totally different player going into this international tonight against Albania?
I think he felt he was going, he'd given everything to Spurs, he'd go with their good grace, the record, the goals he scored, and it just didn't happen. He probably feels, and if you think about it, he's never really won anything. And that feeling of of glory, of winning something. Of course, he nearly did it in an England shirt. He's tried to fulfill it in an England shirt, because it hasn't been successful in a Spurs shirt. Now, that could change.